Hi
Hi
guys.
guys. So welcome to our podcast where Shads is talking to Rads. What's up, Shads?
Well, nothing. We in New Zealand we're headed towards summer. It's springtime, still very cold.
It's still cold, yeah?
It is still cold.
Yeah.
Cannot
Over
wait
here
for
it's nice
summer.
and warm, but in December it's going to be super chilly, and I do not like the cold. So
Yes, you
it's going to
don't.
be interesting. You also don't like the cold,
No, I don't
so
like the
I
cold. I
feel you.
especially don't like it here because the rain comes here with the cold comes here with rain, so it's wet and there's no
Yeah.
sun. And the days that it's sun, it's glorious, but on all other days, it's very depressing.
Yeah. Here
Yeah.
too. In the winters especially, I think the sun never comes up. It's like in the morning, it like comes up like at 10 o'clock, I think. And at night by 4 o'clock, it's like there's no sun. So it's going
No.
to be super cold and super gloomy.
Yeah.
It's cool. So what's up?
Nothing is up, except for this new podcast that we're starting today between you and I. Um, and the name of our channel is Behold Thy Light.
Yes,
Yes.
I'm very excited about it. And it's something new that we're starting together. And we've been friends for how many years now? Oh my God, 15, 20? Not
16,
20,
16,
16
17.
years. Yeah. And it's super cool to be doing this with you. And I'm really glad. And I want you to basically pass on your knowledge about what you're doing. What are you doing? Tell me that.
Hmm. So I'm a certified and trained life coach. It started out as almost a calling, a longing is the word I always use. It was like a longing of finding deeper connection, deeper meaning, having a lens to life, which can only come by being constantly in touch with ideologies, notions, and conversations that stimulate growth, that talk about passion, and that also reminds you to live moment by moment. So I was very uh, taken by these ideas forever. You've known me for my whole life now. And
Mhm.
I've always been fascinated by ideas of self
Yes.
development and self growth. And I guess it was one of those points in life where I could not resist it anymore. So, despite the fact that it was difficult, but I was so driven and so motivated, and actually not even driven and motivated. It was almost like a pull, like just I just had to be there. And so I started out of this journey. I have been reading and working towards learning different kind of therapies and different kind of how to how to have and develop a growth mindset, um, and a deeper understanding of self, and working towards an ICF accreditation, which is the International Coaching Federation's accreditation, was
Yeah.
possibly one of the goals which I did not know I had. But when the time
Yeah.
was right, um,
Yeah.
there were opportunities, and I didn't
Right.
shy away from hopping on them.
Yeah. So if you can explain, like, what is a life coach? Like, what does a life coach do? Why do you need a life coach?
Mm,
What does it bring to you?
so to understand what a life coach is, I think it's also important to understand what a life coach is not,
Yeah.
because a lot of the helping professions get mixed up amongst each
Mm-hmm.
other, and the line is quite blurry, and there are a lot of notions around coaching, because coaching sounds like somebody who's going to motivate you and
Yeah.
make you do things and hold you
Yeah.
accountable and all of that, which it is to some extent, but it's more than that. So first, maybe we can start by understanding a little bit that what is the difference between a psychologist, a psychiatrist, and a counselor and coach. Now, I'm going
Yeah.
to put counselor and coach in one basket for now, and this is a disclaimer that this is my understanding, although some textbooks do differentiate between counseling and coaching, and there are differences. But for the purpose of this particular conversation, I'm going to keep them in one basket. So, a psychologist is someone who does diagnosis. Okay. So, they are interested in you, but their interest is going to be clinical. They will help you understand yourself better for sure, which is true for all the professions. But they actually go in diagnosis, it's clinical. And there are different kind of therapies that they use, like CBT, and so basically cognitive behavior therapy and feedback therapy and
Yeah.
that. And on the basis of what they conclude, they come up with a diagnosis. If your diagnosis is very serious, you refer to a psychiatrist who then prescribes medication. Otherwise, a psychologist continues to engage with you and they provide you talk therapy to work through whatever your diagnosis is. Generally, a psychologist and psychiatrist would work together.
Okay.
So, a psychologist, you need to understand, is someone who works a lot in the sphere of the past, and they deal with more challenging, I wouldn't even use the word challenging, I'd use the word more serious issues, or after, if you're because life is so stressful and everyone's going through so much, if it becomes super chronic beyond a point,
Yeah.
you will need a psychologist. And
Yeah.
especially when it goes to diagnosis of things like ADHD, OCD, post-traumatic stress disorder, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
The psychologist there, and I'm putting it out there. It's unethical for a coach to not refer to you to a psychologist if they can
Yeah.
identify these things, and a coach
Yeah.
is equipped to identify these things.
Okay.
Um, Now, coming to a counselor or a coach, or coming to that bracket, these are helping professions which also use talk therapy, but what the focus is can be quite different. So, a counselor, so both of them are healing professions, both of them help you navigate through life, both of them help to bring a greater sense of awareness. And also identity, and they both use similar therapeutic models. So, for example, as a
Okay.
coach, I learned the internal family systems. Um, and now I intend to learn narrative therapy, which is very common for
Mm-hmm.
counselors and coaches to use. Um, but a counselor would again focus more on your past and help you navigate that. A counselor could also be somebody who helps rebuild family relationships. They could be working with groups, conflict resolution, etc. A coach generally does not work in the conflict resolution exercise space. At least I have not seen it so far. Where they are similar is that they both provide therapy in some sense. It's so the model of talk therapy that they use, they could be similar. Because at the end of the day, it's all about making someone aligned and aware of their inner self, asking questions that
Okay.
are empowering, listening,
Mm-hmm.
noticing, and both these professions do not involve giving advice. Okay.
Okay.
But the main difference comes that a coach tries to address your present, bring you to the present moment, and works towards your future.
Mm-hmm.
But a counselor works primarily with your past.
Okay.
But having
Perfect.
said that, a counselor cannot just work on the past without working towards the future, and a coach cannot just move towards the future and the present without
Yeah.
the past.
Got it.
So, which is why I find it a
Understood.
little difficult to differentiate between the two. It actually boils down to, because counseling is not a registered profession in most countries, and neither is
Yeah.
coaching. Both of these kind of overlap in a lot of ways, and it depends on what kind of skills the person has acquired. If your coach has acquired multiple skills which are used in counseling, then they're just as skillful to provide counseling. I find it very, very overlapping. So yeah,
Great.
that is a
Perfect.
that is a bone of contention. A
Yeah.
lot of people think
Got it.
it's the same as a psychologist's job. No.
Okay.
It is,
So how can we use this channel to basically talk more about that? Like, what do we bring to this channel about life coach and like what else are we talking about? Like just life or how to deal with
um,
life, how to move forward, how to deal with your past. What
can
do we
I,
talk
can
about
I,
here?
can I, can I put you on the spot?
Yes.
Okay, so you tell me, what does it feel like to hear the phrase "Behold thy light"? What does it mean to you?
So over here, it's basically like how this feels like a job interview. But
I told you I want to
okay,
put you on the spot.
yeah. It's basically like everything based on everything that you just said. It feels like how can I, move forward? How can I fix certain parts of my life? How can I see what the future holds for me? Stuff like that is
Mm.
what I feel. Is that right? Is that wrong?
It's whatever you want it to be. So this is
Okay.
channel is about as well. However, I'll rewind a little bit. But when it comes to coaching and counseling, and especially in coaching, one thing we hold is nobody needs to be fixed. Everyone
Yeah.
is whole and is constantly moving towards a fuller realization of their wholeness.
Yeah, correct. It's like that's like pretty much what I thought as well. It's like I know that I have XYZ that I want to like hone more on, basically, skills or anything that you want to say, like channel myself more towards that direction, learn more about that particular thing. So I feel like this is what will help me not just do more in that direction, but also discover that direction.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's what it is. Um,
Yeah,
it is about feeling empowered. It's about
yeah,
being empowered. It's about realizing that you hold that power. And I think the premise is that there is always a seed which is ready to sprout in anyone, no matter what it looks like, no matter how negative their self-talk is, how difficult their situation is, how tied up they feel. There's always like a seed ready to sprout, and that's what we're trying to talk about. That's what we're trying to bring out.
perfect,
And we cannot
perfect.
do that without acknowledging each and every part in a person. So,
Great,
so
perfect.
hence this channel, Behold Thy Light, is actually about addressing everything in life, whatever we can. If anyone has suggestions, we're open to seeing them in the
Yeah.
comments.
So
And
this channel has sprouted basically with this first podcast. This channel has sprouted. Yeah, perfect. So this is what we're going to be talking about for the next. I think we're going to have like what, one podcast a week or two a week? How are we going to do this?
we will definitely try to make it once a week.
Yeah.
Um, and we will try to bring out discussions which are as stimulating as possible. Some would be super light, some would be about the books we love, the characters we
Yes.
draw from, because Radhika is the
Yes.
one who introduced me to the world of fiction. So,
Oh my God. And you introduced me actually to like self-help books and
yeah.
all that kind of stuff. Like non-fiction, basically. Like
Yeah. So
that's
I'm
what I
forever
would,
indebted to you for introducing
same.
me to the world of crazy characters. Also, sometimes dragging me to a Sanjay Leela Bhansali movie, which I don't
Oh
want.
my God. Yes, movies. Yes, yes, yes.
Some really horrible ones. I'm sorry.
We walked out of them together, so that's fine.
That's fine.
I
Yeah.
think we didn't even wait for intermission for some of them. We were like, I can't do this anymore. We're leaving.
No. Can't
Let's
do
go to the
one.
nearby cafe and like have yummy food. And that
Sweet
was,
Obsession.
oh my God, yes, Sweet Obsession. That's a shout out to Sweet Obsession. But
Yes.
yeah,
That is in DLF phase 5
that's
now.
an Arjun Marg, nahi? No?
No, no longer.
Oh,
It's actually behind your house now. It's in
oh, it's
DLF
on
phase
South
5.
Point.
Yeah.
It's in South Point
It's in
Mall, right?
Mall. Yeah.
Yes,
What's the name
yes,
of the mall?
perfect. Yeah.
But yes, so
So
this
there are a lot more cafes here. So when you come here, we're going to introduce you to those cafes.
I'm sure I've already tried all of them.
There are new ones.
Okay.
Yes,
I'm
perfect.
anyways desperate to come back, at least for
Great.
for a month or so.
Yes, please.
So,
Perfect. So this was a great start, and we'll keep bringing this out once a week, like we said, and talk about whatever you want, whatever we want. And if anybody has suggestions as to what they want to listen to, then please tell us.
yes. Otherwise,
And
please be
great.
prepared to be surprised.
Yeah, I'll be surprised too, so it's all good. Perfect.
All
Okay,
right. Lovely catching up, Ryan.
sounds good. Same here. Bye, guys.
Bye.